So yeah, I mean, if we're ready to get started, then yeah, it's getting closer, right? I'm 1 week away from my transition to YouTube, right? We made the announcement last week. October 1st is when I'm going to make a test to go for an entire quarter streaming from YouTube, just to see, like, as an experiment, right? See how that works. And so for the past week, I've been doing some digging, doing some research, just trying to figure out, like, the most optimal settings for YouTube streaming, how to set up your overlays, all that kind of things like that. And there's a lot of standard stuff, like graphics, all that kind of stuff is pretty standard. But when it comes to things like alerts, viewer engagement, and things like that, I've kind of been in this lull. Like, where do you find it? What do you do? Like, and it bid me this question, and this is what I asked you earlier today: has the biggest problem been with YouTube live streaming, not necessarily with the service itself, but with the accessibility of features that people are developing to suit the platform?
So I haven't started making that jump, right? I haven't set up to specifically go live on YouTube, so I don't have the experience that you're going through right now getting that ready. But looking at the tools, right, and a lot of the tools are similar. It does seem that pretty much everything is like Twitch. Also, we have some YouTube. Twitch. It's just not focused on it. That's not where the majority of streamers are at. And I suppose in a way you kind of expect that the tools are going to cater to where more people are. There's more people streaming live on Twitch, just from a like pure channel count of people streaming live.
Is that necessarily? I mean, based on Streamlabs, like based on the Stream Report, right, that came out last quarter, was that necessary? I mean, obviously there's still more channels, but do you think YouTube's still minuscule enough that it means that they should be still, I don't want to say excommunicated, but excluded, right?
So far secondary. I don't know. I mean, probably not. I think we're looking at major growth probably coming down the pipeline. When you look at, especially, I would expect some smaller streamers to be more likely to jump.
Oh,
like very small.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have established community already, why not just go ahead and make the jump at this point, really? Unless you have a specific reason that you really want to push Twitch. If you haven't already been on Twitch for a year, like YouTube would be pretty tempting, honestly, especially when you see Courage, Tim, and the others that have moved over. And it's actually the link I sent you earlier. I mean, I'm really curious to see what this biggest thing in my life ever from Nick Merckx is going to be. Or if we'll find out soon, I don't know.
Right.
But like that really makes me wonder, is Nick going to be the next that gets poached? Is he going to be the next one that jumps to YouTube that gets a guaranteed contract? That would be a major event. So maybe, or on the inverse, maybe Twitch gave him a guaranteed money contract to please don't leave.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I think my expectation is I think Shroud will go next. Not Shroud, Summit. I think I was looking at somebody. I think I was listening to somebody talk the other day, and I can't remember where the information came from, but I really think that Summit's contract is expiring very soon, before the end of the year. And with that, I think Summit is planned to, or is open to options, right? Because right now, I think Summit and XQC are the highest viewer base channels right now on Twitch, right? Summit's absolutely huge in the GTA community, but again, that's another community that watches a lot of YouTube content, right? The GTA 5 RP community watches a ton of YouTube content. There's no reason to not redistribute, and that's been Tim's biggest thing. I think what's going to be interesting, and I mean, this is kind of getting off of the topic a little bit, but I think what's going to be interesting is I think we'll start to see larger streamers that are not exclusively locked into the platform consider YouTube more frequently, right? And I say larger, I mean 100,000 plus viewers, right? So that aren't locked into the platform exclusively. Contracts are coming up for renewal. They don't have big contracts. I think we'll start to see them potentially roll over to other platforms because they'll see the opportunity to leverage VOD content, right? Like, and that's been the biggest downturn. You have always had to take your VOD content, you've always had to pay an editor or republish it or whatever it is, right? And repost it. Whereas now you don't have to really do that. You can still do that and have a separate channel for like edits or whatever and double down on your revenue even from an advertising perspective, right? I think there was a huge misnomer for a long time that the YouTube community is not generous, right? The YouTube community is not as willing right, to contribute to the streams. But that was probably because the streamers that were there were not putting forth that type of content, right? Like,
arguably, historically, like the tools to do that just didn't exist.
Sure.
You couldn't join channels until recently. So there was no way to demonstrate that. And I think the YouTube would have the same problem as Twitch in that telling somebody you can join me on Patreon is off platform. Off platform is never going to perform as well as a platform based tool.
Sure.
So like a Twitch streamer trying to do Patreon or using some other donation tool or something else saying don't sub here, go over there, it's never going to do as well as the on platform system. So yeah, I think part of that I guess idea or history might just simply come from the fact that before recently you couldn't see it because it didn't exist. There wasn't a way for people to join a channel or subscribe, as you would think of it in Twitch terms, right?
Sure. Yeah. So that's one of the things there. I think we will start to see more streamers consider it, from a regular content perspective. And as they do, what's interesting to me, or what I think I notice, or what I think that I feel like this has turned into an iPod to I want to say this has turned into an iOS Android issue, right? Or something like that, where for years, and I think of the automotive market, where for years you had radios and things like that were very integrated to iOS devices, iPods, iTouches, iPhones, etc. And it took a long time. You would go to the market, or you'd go to a store, right? You'd look for a radio, and it was hard to find anything that was like generic USB. It was always like, control your iPod, do this, control this, touch that, and it was all tra-la-la. It was all based around iOS, and it's only up until Android Car. No, it's Apple CarPlay. It's Android Auto, whatever. It's only up until the past couple of years that Android has actually had any leverage in this, and I think that's more technology based because they've been able to build both.
It's true. You know what's funny about that though? I'm going to tangent ever so slightly. I have a 2016 car and a 2019 car, and then my old pickup truck. Neither of the car, either from 2016 or the 2019, neither of them have Android Auto.
Right.
The 2019 only supports CarPlay. It's like,
it's still Android Auto's even still to this day. Like I think 2019, 2020, it was starting to come into play. And and even when you went to buy alarm clocks, you went to buy anything, they were all like Apple compatible, whatever, like it was all very Apple based. The docking ports were all Apple based. All this kind of stuff was Apple based. And then you had like an aux port for any other device, right? Like you could use an aux cable for something else, right?
But I mean, we even have that in streaming tools. What's the Epoch Cam or whatever it is? Used to have Android support and dropped it, and is an iOS only now.
So yeah, Lord. but that's where I'm. That's what you're right. That's what I'm kind of. This is almost turning into a situation like that where you have a platform at the time. We'll say iTunes was the platform. We'll even use iTunes, right? You have the platform of iTunes, and then you have Twitch, right? Kind of that largest platform. Everybody's on it. Everybody's using it. Everybody's there, right? I don't even know what the original competitor to iTunes was, the store wise, but
Napster.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like I didn't want to go with the.
It was
with,
Napster. Let's be honest.
So, but because originally you had the iPod was on the M4A, and then you had MP3s for whatever the competitor styles, right? So I think it was actually Amazon where you could purchase MP3s on Amazon or something early on, right?
But yeah, or I mean, there were a few. There was MP3.com. There was there was a couple. But it wasn't like, I mean, I guess you had Zune for a while.
Yeah. But it was just like, it was like manufacturers picked one thing. They picked one style and they were like, here we go. We're just going to brand everything based around compatibility for this product because it's leading the market, right? Apple had market share for users, so everything was designed around it. I feel like that's the same argument we're seeing with Twitch and YouTube today, right? When you're developing tools, the first thing you're going to look at, especially when you're providing free services or services that come at a revenue share process, right? You're like, how many people can we touch? How many people can we get to touch this, right? Because the more people that touch us, the more opportunity we have to generate revenue off of it. The more, we have the more we make out of a single development plan, right?
Sure.
So
and today the Apple is this is Twitch. It's the bigger platform. It's got more of the streaming oriented stuff on it. YouTube is bigger, more people that are on it, but it's not the live streaming platform.
Yeah.
For people that are familiar with gaming live streaming, it's Twitch.
Yeah, one of the biggest things,
it's just a secondary feature everywhere else.
One of the biggest things I've been looking at, right, is like alert systems, right? Because like getting an alert every time you get a new subscriber on YouTube, right? Getting a new subscriber, we'll say, is almost non-existent. I found a...
Really?
What did I find? I found a...
Stream Elements doesn't do that.
So Mercury has... And maybe it's designed around... I want to say there wasn't anything in Stream Elements. At least that was intuitive. Oh, no. You know what it was? Here's the thing.
Wait.
Here, no. Let me step. Yeah, I'll step back. I said that wrong. Stream Elements does have it.
Sorry, you're fine. I saw something that Lurch said and distracted me for a second.
Oh, Stream Elements does have alerts for YouTube, but they're generic. They're the generic default ones. So, like, if you want to take somebody's alerts, like say Guy Level or Sam Woodhull or Harris or any of these people that have designed alerts for Twitch, you can't go into Stream Elements, upload them, and then use them on YouTube because they don't have. And I'm talking about the very like dynamic.
Right.
The very dynamic alerts, right? The ones that actually have like the follower names built into them and the changing texts and things like that, right? Because of the way they're set up, I guess it's got a lot to do with how it calls on the API. Like your one thing I mean,
like I said, I know you're going through this. I haven't. So
one thing I've seen on the like recent like follower count and stuff like that, like recent subscriber count and stuff like that, putting that as a number on your stream is something that's going to take time. There are ways to do it, but there's not like just a general like click and add. If you go to Stream Elements and you load in the Twitch profile and you go to like the generic widgets that they have,
they're all there.
There's a huge list. It's like there's probably like 35 to 40 generic widgets. If you go to the YouTube, it's like 3 seasonal widgets, and that's it. Like if you go to the YouTube side, the generic widgets don't even exist.
See, and I haven't started trying to make that work, so I will trust you on that. I've never tried it, but that's I guess that makes sense though, right? Like in a way, things are just starting to head that direction. It's and to be fair, some of the channels that we're now seeing jump over are big enough that
that's where I was gonna. That was the other side I was gonna see with it. They're not gonna use any of it anyways.
Tim's not messing with his overlays. Tim's not making his alerts.
He's not
pushing it. Like somebody else did all of that before he even announced it.
Exactly. Oh, somebody called him out. Somebody called him out on his YouTube page. Because one of his like 9 YouTube channels, in the about section, it still said live every day at twitch.tv/Tim. And he was streaming on YouTube and somebody called him out on it. And like, he was like, I mean, in my greatest Tim impression, he's like, bro, I pay like 25 people to do this transition. You think out of those 25 people, they would get and he just starts going off on the fact of like how much time they invested in transitioning over to YouTube and how like when they were going to hit go, it was supposed to be boom, everything was going to be flawless. And it's still, you still find those little things here and there where they just don't happen to go through and it doesn't work out right.
Yep. But yeah, that's one thing. Like there's for people that are known on one platform and then jump to the other, there's a lot to communicating that when people associate you with one or the other. So like take Harris, for example. If you look at his videos from 4 years ago, they all have links to his YouTube live streams now. Like somebody
that's
somebody helping him.
No, there's a tool you can do that now. You notice what I've started to notice? Here's what I can say. You notice that a lot of big YouTube channels today, they don't put personalized information in the video descriptions. It's like a cookie cutter. It's like most recent videos, hot playlists, top 50 pieces of gear, and then in the first chat or the first comment box, they put a comment and they pin the comment for what they want to say personalized about the video. Because there's a tool out there that you can do where it edits every video.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, it's still something you have to go back and think about. Like, oh yeah, I have to change all the links in all of these places across hundreds of videos. So I mean, there's a tool for it, sure, but like, it's still something that has to go back and go, oh yeah, where all did I put my Twitch link?
And how many of those?
Go change that.
How many of those do you worry about? Like, if you're still getting 1,000 views a day, how much of that, like just rough numbers, right? If you're still getting 1,000 views a day, how much of that is worth like actually going back and editing that to say, oh, by the way, I stream on YouTube now, because you're only going to edit that one segment or whatever and throw it into the video. But how much is worth re-uploading the video? Because you can't edit with new content. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Do you just clip it out where it says I stream on Twitch? Like, how do you make that work to fit to where you're not pushing people to the wrong platform?
I mean, I think the way Harris did it on his, he still has the little, I stream on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and he does his little right here.
Yeah.
And the little bar pops up, and it still says Twitch, but in the video description, it has the updated YouTube links.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, yeah, that's where I think, how much work would it be to go back to every video you've ever put that little clip in and either clip it out or like, because what else can you do, right? Once it's already up there, you'd have to delete and re-upload and lose all your view counts and everything, and the likes, of course, with that whole algorithm thing. Or what? Can you cut a piece out of the video once it's already live?
You can edit videos that are already live without penalties, right? But you can't, like, obviously you can't add a new segment to it.
Yeah.
So you can strip, you can cut down,
you just
things like that.
But
yeah.
How long would that take?
Oh, for every video? It would be insane. Like if you had 1,000 videos on your channel, you're talking about, that's forever. I mean, it's forever, realistically. You're probably right. It's probably not worth it at all. But I mean, so that's a good thing to think about, right? As we keep having these conversations about, like, is YouTube growing at the right speed? Are people actually transitioning? What's actually happening? Because I feel like a lot of new channels that come up, especially those that are like brand new, like out of the box, never streamed before, and they're trying to choose a platform, they're going to see that Twitch has a lot more opportunity for early adoption, right, of features and fun things. And like I've already tried to decide, like, how to rotate. Go ahead.
Oh, I think what sucks about Twitch and what also makes Twitch slightly better at the same time,
here we go,
is that for the really tiny channels, I think discoverability is actually slightly better on Twitch right now. And until you get into the YouTube algorithm, you're not going to get recommended. Your videos aren't coming up, no matter how long they sit there, unless you're getting some amount of attention on them to get them pulled into a recommendation. They're not really going to be in front of anybody. If you're looking for, and think about it this way, if you're going YouTube and you're like, there's this new game coming out that I want to check it out, and you type the name of the game in, you're finding everybody's uploaded content, not just live, and almost no live streams, certainly not tiny live streams. you're gonna find Tim's latest. Like, if you want to go, let's use an example of the Warzone Season 6, which is about to come out. If you want to go learn about Warzone Season 6, you go to YouTube and you type in Warzone Season 6, and all the big Warzone streamers are going to come up, not live streams. All the latest static content produced videos will come up. If you go to Twitch and go to Warzone, it's a category of people that are live. The fact that YouTube doesn't have searchable, browsable by game directory right now kind of sucks. So if you're smaller, if you're really small, I think YouTube in that way kind of sucks. And the other thing against it would be your monetization's farther out. To even start monetizing.
Yeah, monetization's really far out. So I would say that that's a little bit of a misnomer. Because I have found a way to search live streams for a particular game. Right? You can find channels now you can't really do it by like a game category. It goes up based on like descriptions. So you can do live channels based off of a search criteria, right? So you can't
that means it has to be in the text somewhere.
Sure. You're totally right.
Say the name of the game.
You're totally right. You're totally right. Now, but what I have seen is that, because I'm actually starting to see it a lot more now. Since Tim and Lupo transferred, I'm starting to see that when I just go to my feed and my homepage, like there's live channels that are now visible, like on my Explore page. And they're popping up way more frequently because I've been a long-standing subscriber to Tim and Lupo. They're there, and then it's showing me other recommended channels that are live as well. So I think those are new things that YouTube has been trying to work in.
I think that is probably your preferences working to that advantage a little bit. So I have YouTube open in Firefox right now. It's a not logged in session to YouTube.
No. It's definitely 100%. 100%. 100%. It's definitely 100%. It's definitely preferential to me. But that's what I'm saying is once you start following a live channel, it will start recommending you others, I believe, right? And then you can go to like the homepage, and then you go to Explore, and they have live and they have gaming, right? Under the Explore sections, and then you can go through and pick like top live games, and you have to go down and find your game. So you can pick by game category. You just can't search by that game category, right? Like I can't go up to the top and type in Warzone and then find all the Warzone streams. Like I would have to scroll and find it in this long list, right?
Right. But like I'm doing this right now. So I just logged in, or I just clicked on Minecraft. I get 1, 2, 3, 4. I get 6 currently live channels, and then everything after that's I'm in YouTube Gaming. Clicked on like the game category. I get 6 live channels, and then everything else is pre-recorded content.
Well, I mean that actually might be factual.
No, I can side scroll that and get to other live channels. But on the actual page, as you scroll down, there's just one line that's live channels. So even in the gaming section, you get a row of live.
Yeah, no. Okay. You see, you get the one row of live, right? If you go hit the live tab,
right. But now I've clicked gaming and then I had to click live again.
Sure.
Kind of what I mean. Like,
sure.
If you want to go to live content, it's farther away from.
Sure. No, it is. It is 100%. It is 100%. But at the same time, if somebody wants to go to YouTube and search Minecraft, right, and they already subscribed to somebody, or they've watched a couple of Minecraft videos, and you're currently streaming Minecraft, I've seen that they would potentially put a live stream in the like recommended videos along the right-hand side. Right, they're starting to do what I think I've started to see is that they're starting to add live streams as a part of the algorithm based on the only thing I can think of is based on viewer retention based on those viewers watching other videos, right? So or post retention as well, right? Does that make sense? Views, your channel on your you look like you get distracted. Your channel as a whole based on the thumbnail, based on viewer retention and other things like that, like how your channel performs tags wise, what other channels viewers come from to watch your content, how long they stay, what channels they go to after they get done watching your content, things like that all tie into whether or not your live stream would get recommended to a specific viewer, or if another video of yours would get recommended to another viewer.
Let me try to understand. So you're obviously a little more familiar with, or arguably a lot more familiar with live on YouTube. If I go, so I'm in Minecraft, I click live, and this one channel is live 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the
Gaming?
3 or 4 times? One single channel is listed in the live with different watcher counts 3 times.
Okay, hold on here. Let me.
Why? That's
you
one
can
channel.
actually run. So
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if this is what they're doing. Do you know what the channel is?
Current live streams. Yeah. Alex Animation.
Oh,
They have
I see
Monster
one.
School Minecraft Animation, Monster School Minecraft Animation, and Monster School Minecraft Animation. 3 different, same title, but 3 different thumbnails, but 3 different viewer counts. One with 608, one with 739, and one with 1,000. But it's one.
You can run
channel.
3 different live stream. Well, what happens if you open? I'm gonna open. I'm literally. I'm
Just open 2 of them and see what happens.
They're both running the same content.
I would imagine.
Yeah, they're both feeding the same content. So it's not even. I don't know. I know you can run the same stream multiple times. You can run the same. How does that work? You can run the same fed live. So you can run the same video stream across multiple live
events.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah. But like
that is not the intention.
Is this a good thing?
That is, yeah. So that is not the intention that it's meant to be used for. I would say that. That's not the intention that it's meant to be used for.
That's kind of messed up.
That's,
and there's multiple channels right here doing it.
So that might be something that's a workaround for that. I didn't know that was a thing.
On the top of the
I've heard of it. I've heard of it being used. So like typically, I used this as an example the other day. When Hopper and I do the podcast, right? We have the opportunity to start the podcast at, like, if I start streaming at 8:30, we start the podcast at 9 and we podcast till 10, and then we keep playing games after that. I could do one live stream that is the entire 4-hour segment, and then an additional live stream that is podcast only. So I can actually stream the What the Wednesday podcast on the What the Wednesday channel, and then I can stream my entire live stream on my personal gaming channel, right? Because I can feed 2 different live keys to it at the same time. But I don't know, like, using it in that way seems
a little ridiculous.
But it's the same thing. It's the same thing as if I were feeding my podcast onto 2 different channels. At the same time, if I were feeding my podcast on 2 channels at the exact same time.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's true. I don't know. This is just weird because it's the same channel and there's more than one channel doing this where
I think you can have up to 4 keys. That's the thing. I think that's the max number of keys you can have. Or simultaneous streams. I think you can have up to 4 simultaneous streams at any time.
This feels abusive.
It does.
The feature.
It does.
Like, I mean, to still be in the top of the category, you have to have enough viewers on each of those streams, I guess, to keep them all up there. But like, oh, and this one, is this really? Hang on, let me go open this other. Cool. So this one that is actually showing up in the Minecraft category is somebody playing Warzone.
Well, that's just that one there. I have a problem. That is one problem I do have with YouTube. I don't understand yet how multiple games works.
Yeah.
If I don't understand yet how changing categories in multiple games work with streaming. Like if you start streaming under entertainment and you change yourself to gaming Warzone, how does that work? Right? Like how does that play out?
I don't think you can just change a category. Because isn't it preset when you create the event?
So it is preset. It is
stream, so to speak.
It is preset, but you can change it in the middle of the stream. But I don't know how that impacts searchability, discoverability, post information. or any of that, right? Like I'm trying to find
Maybe
Tim's. I would go to Tim's. Where's his live streams?
Yeah, so like under
uploads.
this live tab though, like you can't do anything else with this.
Because it's a group. Look at it. Like you can subscribe to the live group. It's the same way gaming works on YouTube. It's the same way.
I went back to just live tab. Like I can't search this with tags like you can on Twitch either.
No.
So like if you pick a game, like Minecraft's actually still a good example. On Twitch, I could go live in Minecraft and put the playing with viewers tag. And if somebody wants to jump on with play with a streamer, they can go to the game category they want and click playing with viewers. There's nothing like that here on Minecraft.
Sure, they can.
In fact, you can't even sort this by language.
No. Well, they haven't. It's typically sorted by, to my understanding, it's typically sorted in region, but that doesn't help.
Region, but
that doesn't help because it necessarily, if you're out of region, right? Yeah, exactly. No, I'm totally on the same page. Here's the thing. I'm totally on the same page with searchability in the terms of live content. Yes. But again, the objective here isn't necessarily as much to find new viewers while you are live, right? That's the same problem and the same situation that you run into with Twitch. Finding new viewers while live is 1/10 of your viewer base, typically, right?
Yeah. Well, and
or 1/10 of your potential user base, I should say.
One big difference in this case, of course, is and find VODs. You find live streams. So even if you wanted to actually go have a VOD to just skip through, there's not really a good way to do that. And actually no like historical VOD search.
My internet is tanking right now.
Ooh.
You just had two hard cuts. So if
I tab over, do I get to see Pixel Cool?
No, it's like going from 0 to 6K like immediately.
Oh, dang it.
It's going from like 0 to 6K, but
I can see myself cutting out on your screen.
Yeah, it literally, like, you literally froze. It wasn't like your audio got degraded. It literally froze. So give me that sentence one more time again. It seems like it's stabilizing somewhat.
On Twitch, you don't have a way to search for VODs.
Correct.
So you can't just go to Twitch and search, Warzone greatest hits and come up with a VOD of that. Or whatever. When you go to search and you search for a game on Twitch, you get what is exactly current.
Sure.
On YouTube, obviously, you get a mix in theory, but you have historical content, which so it's sort of not directly comparable in that way. I would say in that yes, your VOD really doesn't do much for you on Twitch, but it also is partially because it's just simply not exposed. Twitch has just never put any effort into putting VODs in front of people at all. So,
yeah, but do you believe
greatest hits? Yeah.
Do you believe that people would actually? So I guess that's a good question. Is if because I have had people come to me and say that they enjoy watching the VODs. Right? They have watched VODs of they watch the VODs for like my previous streams and stuff, and I've always understood it like I don't enjoy it, but again, I've watched people's VODs too. So is it because
like I primarily end up watching VODs if I meet somebody in another person's live stream in their chat? I'll go to that person I just met in chat's page and go watch part of their VOD.
I'll watch 5 minutes maybe. Usually, unless it's somebody that I want to engage with or that for some reason I need to. I mean, I don't typically, but yeah, I'm kind of curious on that. Like, are VODs not watched just because they're not really loaded? But I feel like those who are already dedicated to your channel, we're getting back into that same argument. Those who are already dedicated to your channel, if they miss a stream and they want to go back and watch it, they'll go back and watch it.
Sure, it is there.
Right? They'll take that opportunity to go do that. And the same with YouTube at that point, right? Like if somebody's missing your live stream or something, if they want to make it a point to find your live stream, that's where they're going to go like they're going to make an effort to go look for it or go find it or watch your previous stream, right?
Yep.
I think what's going to be interesting is finding proper ways to leverage that medium form content.
Right.
And keeping people, because if somebody goes to search for like you get a ripping video for Fortnite greatest plays, right? Like you just happen to be that guy, you get a ripping video that's just absolutely tearing through the algorithm, and it's like top 5 searched videos or something like that.
Sure.
And you're streaming alongside of it, right? You're streaming at the same time. Somebody goes to watch that video. Next up, boom, just pop right into the live stream. Like you're on the same
Does
platform.
it do that?
I mean, there is a next up option, but you would have to find an interesting test would be using one of these. I'm not going to click on any of these Minecraft streams right now, but I was going to say, if you clicked on a live stream, just went to the channel, right, and then watched one of their videos, would it show up as something
recommended? I don't know.
Right.
I'll use the example of let's say we hop into Rocket League later, and you and I have the best 5-minute match of Rocket League we've both ever had in the game. We end up dunking on the other team for like 15-0 or something ridiculous like that. That Twitch gives me the option to turn that into a highlight, and I can even name it like greatest Rocket League game of my life. There's no way for people to search and find that. The only way to do anything with that would be to take that high kick. Welcome, dude. But would be to take that, like make the highlight in Twitch, then download it, then save it to your computer, then wait the 24 hours, the Twitch exclusivity, then upload it to YouTube, then it can be discovered. Any highlights or VODs are just simply not findable on Twitch unless somebody's specifically looking for your channel and your content.
Yeah, but I would make the same claim. I would make the same claim for YouTube, because you're still going to have to record it or strip it from your live stream at some point. If you want to make that segmented medium form content, right? You're still going to have to clip it, highlight it, or scrape it, and then re-upload it, right? And even Twitch, because downloading VODs on Twitch is garbage. Like the video quality on Twitch VODs is terrible. It's super compressed.
So this is maybe me not knowing as much detail on YouTube. Can you not like clip a section of a longer live stream in YouTube and turn it into a new video directly? Like an extra long clip, or in Twitch terms they call it a highlight?
I don't think so. Not that I am.
I guess I kind of assumed you could.
If you could, and that would be amazing. If you could, and you had an opportunity to collect stream markers, right?
Right. Exactly.
If you could do that and collect stream markers, that could be that would be a huge, hey, YouTube, hey guys, that's your feature right there. A highlighting feature as known on Twitch, but something to where you can do independent videos based on your live streamed content. That would be amazing.
That'd be huge.
Now
you could just say, I want this 5-minute chunk, make it into a YouTube video.
How do you
or even just let it cut it so that you could download it as a chunk instead of having to grab the whole VOD and then edit it down?
I think you can do that. I think you can use the editor and download a section of it from the editor, but I'm not 100% positive. I'm actually going into my previous live stream on my channel right now, and then I'm going to hit the edit button and see what it even looks like. I don't.
Okay, I'll give you a second to do that. Give me 1 second, really quick.
Yeah. Take care of what you need to. So we're gonna take a peek at this, guys. I'm gonna deafen myself for Nathan real fast. We're gonna take a peek at this real fast and see what this does, because there is the editor function, but I don't know how this works. You can add in ad breaks. You can blur parts of the video. You can add in your own background music. You can add elements. You can trim. But you can't. But you can't take out parts and download them. Not that I can tell, at least at the moment. So I don't see anything here right now that would say that I would have the capability to do something like that. So you'd still have to be, if you wanted any content, like right now we're streaming this on Twitch. right? If we wanted to record it to be uploaded to YouTube later, we have to do that in its own way, right? We have to do it that way. So that makes sense. I can understand how that works. Now we gotta wait for Nathan to come back.
Tough. It wasn't me. I don't know what you're talking about.
So I looked through the editor. You can add background music. You can add additional music tracks. You can blur parts of your video. You can actually piece together your ad breaks at certain periods. You can add overlay elements such as other videos and things like that, typical to the YouTube functions. Right. But there is no way to download that stripped down video once you've edited it. So
it'd be one thing that Twitch has then. You can take like a 1 hour chunk and just grab it.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean that's nice. It always scares me. Like I always wonder if I'm doing something wrong, because when I do 1 hour segment, it's like between 6 and 10 gigs, right? To do a 1 hour segment at 1080p. And then when I go grab it from Twitch, it's like 800 megs, maybe, right? When I grab that same segment off Twitch, I'm like, I was like, this is super compressed. Like, I understand how compression works, but like, this is way over the top.
I got faster. Oh, Kick. I didn't get any faster. That's done by code now. I don't have to push any buttons for shoutouts. It's totally automatic. But yeah, so I think there is still some give and take between the two. I think there are cases where Twitch is still ahead. So being able to create a highlight and then just download that chunk is pretty nice, instead of having to grab the entire, like in my case, what are often 6 hour VODs. If I want a 45-minute chunk out of the middle of it, having to pull all 6 hours into Resolve or whatever, and then go find that and then chop it out.
Is there still a limitation on? Is there still a limitation on, or is there a limitation on clips on YouTube?
On clips?
Is there a length limitation?
I don't know. There is on Twitch, right? It's like a minute or two.
Yeah. So no, Twitch, they are 30 seconds by default, 60 seconds max.
That's right. Yeah.
And not every channel. So clips are still experimental. Like my channel does not have a clips feature.
Oh right? Yeah. So I just clicked into one to go make one and it's not there.
Yeah. Clips are 5 and 60 seconds. So it is up to a minute as well.
Okay. Well,
the alternative is, though, the bad thing that I've heard about clips is you get a link to the clip, but it's not a part of your channel. Like you have no way to know, to my understanding, you have no way to know when somebody clips content of your channel. Right? So like
you have no way to go back and find it either?
Not that somebody clipped of your channel.
Weird.
Right? I don't know how to go.
That is nice on Twitch. I can go see all clips cut in my channel.
Yes. So that's another thing that I think that they're still working on. Like I can clip something and share it. But again, you have to think of the way YouTube's doing it. It's basically using the share button at a certain timestamp and just using the end at a certain timestamp function. Like that's the way it's operating that.
I mean, it's not creating a new chunk of video.
Right. It's only limiting the playhead to a certain point, right? So all you're doing is creating the clip and then sharing it. All it's doing is giving a different URL for the playhead to be at certain positions. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a little different, and that's why it's really hard to get clips to work in that way.
Although then at that point, like, who cares how long? It's interesting that there would be any arbitrary length limit. Like, who cares if the clip is 5 minutes long if all it is a couple of arguments in the URL? It's a little interesting. It'd be interesting to see how what YouTube does with this in the longer term. But there is some give and take. But I do think we are, or definitely in that middle ground right now, where I think for a brand new creator, if you can survive on your own coin long enough to get to that 1,000 follows or subscribers on YouTube, to get to the point of monetization, if you can get to that point without having any revenue yet, like, YouTube might be the better place at this point. What sucks though is that for anybody that has a community already established on Twitch, it's so very Twitch centric, and a lot of Twitch users, myself included, are very Twitch centric. Even streamers that I like to watch, if they move over to YouTube, I'm less likely to watch them live right now because I'm still very Twitch oriented.
I totally understand that, and that's one of the biggest things that that's one of the things that I would have to figure out how to like make that transition, because I think the biggest thing or the biggest problem or the biggest issue is going to be creators that have smaller communities that try to transition. And you're right, they're going to take a revenue hit. They're going to take a potential loss, right? If they don't already have a YouTube stream or a YouTube channel established, right? You're going to have to find alternative means to get a good revenue stream in there. You're going to have to look at potentially, Buy Me a Coffee or Stripe or Square or something to find
Patreon or something like that.
Yeah. Something to do. Some. Yeah, I'm just leveraging different ideas, right? Or Mercury, right? Stream Elements, right? It has Mercury now, which helps out. So there's solutions out there, but again, we just talked before. If they're not integrated into the platform, then you're less likely to receive. We know that. You see that on a daily basis. You are less likely to receive, that. I think that's why Twitch has been so successful with the subs and gifted subs and bits, right? Because it's all built right into the platform.
I feel like it's almost the thing that I would hate to be the person encouraging too, because a healthy paranoia of all the places on the internet you're putting your credit card number, that's probably a good thing. So when you go to watch a content creator you like, and they're like, hey, go click on this website that you're not familiar with, go put your card in there and then give me money. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
You want me to go to, what is a Patron? Am I buying
Patron?
Am I
buying you some alcohol? Yeah.
Like if you're not familiar with Patreon, or you're not familiar with any of these other, donation or funding platforms or whatever, if you're not familiar with Buy Me a Coffee and I'm sitting there live like, hey, go click on this link and put your card in here and give me money, you're going to go,
yeah,
I think I'd rather give Google my card and I'll just subscribe to somebody else on YouTube, or join somebody else on YouTube,
right?
Or on Twitch, right? Like, I'd rather subscribe to somebody else because I know that I'm giving my card to Amazon at this point, so we're not quite as scary as.
So we've had the discussion, or I know I've had the discussion before about paying out creators and advertising, and why non-monetized channels don't receive advertisements, not because they don't have to pay out, but because they're not allowed to make revenue off of non-monetized channels. There's some legal ramification there, right? Because my thought process is why can't YouTube, and this goes for Twitch too, why do you have to be an affiliate? Why can't they allow you to take like super chats? Like, not have memberships per se, but why can't you receive super chats on YouTube if you're not a monetized channel? Like, what agreement has to be made to make that legal? Right? I know to an extent. I know to an extent, because you have to fill out IRS documentation, right? You have to fill out tax paperwork with the affiliate agreement and with YouTube, right? YouTube is actually a little bit more stringent. Right, you have to do address verifications and other things like that. Like there's a little more information that's involved with that from the YouTube side.
Google where I live.
Yeah, well, yeah, like they don't already know. But I mean,
they keep shipping me phones here, so I assume
exactly. But what I'm saying, like you have to add in additional information even. So it's not like they're just giving it to anybody. So I think that has a lot to do with it.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm still trying to think about how this fits, which.
I mean, I wonder if one of the things, what would happen if YouTube tonight at midnight tonight says, you know what, 1,000 subscribers? No. 50. Done. 50. We'll follow Twitch. If everybody can be monetized, basically, I mean, everybody, if you can monetize people as quickly on YouTube as you do on Twitch, how much of an impact would that have?
I don't think they want that though. They had that before.
I know
they had that before.
I know, and they got rid of it.
Yeah,
everybody could monetize.
anybody
before.
could just turn on monetization, right? At any point in time. And that was actually the biggest complaint on YouTube, was everything was advertised at that point, right?
Mhm.
Like, and I get it, right? Like it makes sense, but
But what if they did that, but it only applied to your live streams until you got to 1,000? Then you could do it on your static content, your VODs.
so you could do super chats and sticker stamps.
Make it just like Twitch, basically.
Super chats and stamps based on 50 subscribers, followers, etc. Right? And then
your regular channel content gets monetized at 1,000, like it does today.
Yeah, so you don't generate any ad revenue at that point. You're just allowing the potential. I mean, that would be substantial. Like that would be huge.
Right. How fast would people jump? Because I
really
honestly
huge.
believe, I think that's one of the biggest things that stops people is not just the community, because obviously Twitch is very is I don't know what the thing is. I don't know how I describe that. Like a lot of people love the emotes, the poggers, the kappa, all the things that make Twitch, especially the kappa that's actually kappa and not the YouTube's version of kappa, which is garbage.
So you can get your own emotes.
Right, but I mean, like the Twitch built in, like the platform.
I totally understand what you're saying. I get where you're going.
So for some people, that would kind of keep you around a little bit, but the if you could monetize arguably almost instantly for your live content, similar to how monetization works on Twitch, how many people would say, you know what, YouTube's got a ways to go, but every time somebody follows my channel on YouTube now, it counts for double duty, because it counts for my future static content and my live content.
Yeah.
Whereas right now, a follow on Twitch doesn't help my YouTube channel at all. It doesn't do anything for my YouTube channel.
Right. So maybe I still think if you're going to make that argument, you're still going to find people that just don't enjoy the viewer engagement experience on YouTube. I think YouTube would be better off. Investing in better viewer engagement tools, better chat features, better page integration, better design, right? Better UI, right? Because, or UX at that point, right? Like user experience. I think they'd be way better off with that than they would in reestablishing the baseline for what involves a monetized creator, because I feel like their platform already has enough monetized creators. It's not like they're in a limited supply of people that are live streaming today, right? It's not like they have channels that can't sustain the number of viewers that they're getting. So might as well just work on making the viewers happier than adding more creators at this point, right? So sure. If that's what it is, but do you think that because I've been in a few live streams with very large channels, right? In terms of subscriber count, like large channels in terms of subscriber count, but you go to the live stream and there's literally like 20 people in chat, right? Because these people aren't streamers, right? We've talked, they're medium form content that also live stream. Right. So it's a different, and I think that's still going to be YouTube's focus long term. I really do. I still think that's going to be YouTube's focus long term. It's going to be supporting their medium form content creators, right? And short form now with shorts, right? Their medium and short form content, and enabling them to live stream and enabling them to be supported in that way, because I feel like they're going to get more. They're still going to get more bang for your buck, or more viewer engagement, more long-term viewer retention through medium form content, right? Long form content isn't going to keep people around all the time.
And one thing that I would say, that YouTube also kind of has working for it is that did Qual die for anybody else? I hope not. I hope Qual's not dead. He's still moving on my screen.
I'm still moving I'm still moving on my screen.
But the blah words. I got distracted for a second there. Oh, my music shut off for a second. That's all. The one thing I think is working to the advantage of YouTube right now with the people that are jumping over, the big names that are jumping over, is that viewer engagement for those channels isn't as
Doesn't matter.
critical.
Doesn't matter. So
In that, it basically doesn't matter.
So,
Because
so the question begs though: does the viewer engagement matter? Just because as a viewer society, we've been taught that it matters, right? Like for me, we'll put it this way: for me, I have a channel points redemption to rotate my camera, right?
right,
Say I just go to use loyalty points instead, and I do an exclamation point rotate, and when that goes off, it deducts 500 loyalty points, and then.
Sure.
It activates it, and then I set that command on a timer that can only be activated every 2 minutes or whatever, right? Like you just
can do that today too.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like you just recreate some of the viewer engagement, some of the loyalty benefits, right? I think people forget. I think people forget how young channel points are for Twitch. Right? They're only 2 years old at most. So when I started streaming, we didn't have channel points, right? Like that was not a feature we had available to the channel. So we had to come up with creative ways to make viewer engagement work, right? We still had bits, we still had subs, but outside of that, you couldn't do these crazy things that we're able to do today. So we're in that same position with YouTube now.
And let me go open another channel on Twitch really quick. I will say that level of viewer engagement is definitely something that is in another way also still more of a like small to medium channel feature anyway, also because
you're not going to have 10,000 viewers enabling to mess with your camera and stuff.
Yeah, like Tim's not going to let me flip his camera over because I've watched for enough hours.
Right. No, I totally agree with you there.
So I just pulled up a very large Twitch stream partner channel that's open right now or live right now, and their channel point rewards are the emote ones. What is this one? Send a message in sub only mode and highlight my message. That's it.
So it's something that was designed for smaller channels.
The default ones.
Yeah, and that's always been my question is while it works for some smaller channels, right? And while it's become a part of smaller channel brands, is that something that necessarily needs to carry over, right? Is that something that should stay as a Twitch centric thing? It's one of those things that does it matter that much? Like, are we only using it because we've been taught to use it and we enjoy using it, or should we just let it go?
So here's a question for you: does viewer engagement really matter if you're getting their money anyway?
What do you mean? No, I mean I think that's an odd question because I don't think people donate. I don't think people donate to a streamer in order to get viewer engagement. I think they donate to a streamer because they enjoy the content, right? If the viewer engagement is a piece of that content, then yes, right? Like if part of your donation involves like a 5-minute segment to where you get to come on stream, then yeah, that's a viewer engagement function, right? Or whatever, right? Like that's a viewer engagement function. That's something that you allow, but I would say that viewer engagement is just for the fun of the stream and to entertain the viewers while they're there, right? Versus,
I think it just depends on the channel, really. The channel content, and the viewers that the channel brings. So, like, if you are, so there's somebody else I watch occasionally here on Twitch that has a ton of rather inexpensive channel point redeems, and they're all physical movements, like turn around and sit down. So like if it fires off, they stand up out of their chair and they do a little circle around their chair and then sit back down, or they stand up and clap or whatever else. And that becomes for them, it's a big part of the content because they're fairly inexpensive and people are doing it constantly. So it becomes more critical to the content. For me, channel points are, I mean, how many we had so far tonight? 2 in an hour and 15 minutes.
Right.
See a few. But they're not quite as intense, and I don't make them like a major huge focus either. So I guess it depends on the channel, I guess, at the end of the day. If you're Tim the Tap Man, you don't care about channel points really probably at all because they're not going to directly affect your stream.
Sure, 100%.
So
and that's where I'm kind of getting, so we're coming close to our topic point again. So I want to close out on one other feature that I think that I am looking forward to on YouTube, and one thing that I'm trying to test out is the ability to do shorter streams.
Ain't you a lucky one?
right.
I think right now there's this expectation on Twitch to go live and stay live, right? Like, and you want to stay live for as long as you can because you only stream 3 days a week. But again, if your content becomes searchable, and they're always talking about like posting multiple videos a week, etc., right? If you were to stream, like say you want to do a playthrough, like I was talking about, I did a playthrough of Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, right? 2 years ago or whatever, I did it.
Yep.
But if I were to have turned that into a 4 days a week, I'm going to live stream this game for an hour at a time.
Yep.
Then that's all you do. You load it up. You're like, hey guys, what's going on today? We're in Magtheridon's Lair. I know that's a WoW term. I can't even remember any of the bosses in Hellblade.
Linux areas or something. Yeah.
Something we're over in this part. We're going to continue on where we were last week. If you guys haven't checked out the other videos, go drop in and hit those now, and we'll catch you guys back up to speed. Blah, blah, whatever.
Links
do like
in
a
the
little
description below.
Yeah, and then we'll do a playlist down in the description of the video. Don't forget to hit that like. Let's get to it, right? And then you just jump in and start playing, right? And then you just have fun. You play the game, and then you're good to go, right? And that becomes your live stream. And then you stream for an hour, and you say, "Hey guys, don't feel free to check out. It tomorrow. We'll have another episode. Blah blah blah, whatever, right?" And then now you have medium. I don't know where you turn it into long form content, right? At what point? But if you do an hour long session, you can even do a half hour. You can do a half hour, right?
Potentially, yeah.
And then just turn into a video, and then sign out. You're not getting as many people in chat. You're not. But if people but if people know that you're going to stream for an hour every day, they're going to come sit. They're going to know that this hour is your hour, and they'll come hang out and chat with you, and they'll do that, right? Like, how many times
on YouTube, those VODs don't die.
Right. How many times on Twitch does a viewer watch your entire stream? Like, literally watch your entire stream. Like, I'm not talking about lurk. I'm talking about literally watch the entire stream, because and are engaging, because that's going to be the other question there is, yes, you might have more viewers on Twitch. Yes, you might have more like watch time on Twitch, but if the people aren't engaging, does that really matter? Right? To an extent, in this sense of the algorithm, right? I understand it matters in Twitch. It matters in other areas. I'm not saying anything about lurkers, but I'm just trying to say, like, in general, if you're just trying to produce a 1 hour video and people come for that 1 hour, they watch your 1 hour, like you have 20 people that watch, they engage for that 1 hour because they know you're only there for an hour, then they do, right? If I know you're going to be on and off in a certain period of time, I'm going to want to connect with you on that period of time. But if I know you're going to be here for 4 hours, oh, well, I'm going to pull up this document and work on some stuff, and I'm going to be over here playing a game while I'm kind of half listening, right? So I think that kind of changes that kind of specific mentality of it too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's something we'll learn from your experiment. I don't know. I mean, for me, I have obviously fallen into the format of 3 days a week and 6 to 6+ hours a stream, so they're pretty long, and I don't generally expect people to hang out for the whole thing. But what I do like about it is, for me at least, it covers more time zones. So, like, I'm on earlier, I'm more likely to catch a lurch, or
sure.
I mean, other like Kick, other people there, or Smile, or Killigan, or other people that are on the West Coast. And then by the time I'm getting ready to wrap up, Board and Arnie and the other folks that are in Asia Pacific region or Australia or whatever else are coming online. So for me, no, I don't expect people to be there the whole time, because I expect that most people, if they catch me close to the beginning, they're either East Coast and getting ready for bed, or they're West Coast and they're probably heading to bed before I'm done. I don't know. So if it was an hour a night, if I was going to shoot for an hour a night, honestly, I would probably have to change my time so that it wasn't at 8 p.m.
Well, or even
just
you
to
do
have
like
a better
think of
slice of time.
Yeah, think of it this way. Like, if you were to do, like, you currently stream 3 days a week. Those additional 4 days you stream for a half hour. You don't even have to stream, right? You just record you record gameplay for a half hour or whatever it is, right? And that just becomes more. I say stream just because you'll pop up as live while you're making it, right? Maybe if you're great at streaming, it's just as easy to stream as it is to record. It's actually honestly easier to stream than it is to record content sometimes, right? So I say stream just because I think it might be easier to do. But if that's the case, then you just record for a half hour and upload that to your channel, and all that comes together, right? Like it comes together in a single type of content versus I just that gets back into that whole sense of putting medium form content alongside of your streams, right? That's where that kind of comes into play.
Well, and that's where I'm really curious to see the results of your experiment. On the YouTube side.
I mean,
I'm really curious to see how it pans out.
Right. It took me almost 18 months to get 1,000 subscribers. Like, being realistic, it took me almost 18 months to get 1,000 subscribers.
You were cranking out a lot of videos.
I was trying to, yeah, and not all of them were the greatest content, but I was putting out a lot of content. So I will be very interested to see how this changes from what I know now in terms of like production value, and how that kind of shifts into if the live streaming side is actually going to help drive more viewership or more subscriptions and things like that.
We'll find out. I don't know. Maybe that's a good point to pause. You did mention we're closing on time anyway.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see, and we'll find out in the course of the next 2 months.
Next week,
what happens.
We'll start.
So if you're just joining in, Reagan, Mr. Love Glove, some of the others, if you're not familiar, Qual is getting ready to start an experiment of YouTube streaming. And Qual, you want to tell them what your goal is and what you're doing?
Okay, so just, the intention is I've been streaming on Twitch for almost 2 years, and I have a YouTube channel as well that is a monetized, channel on YouTube recently. And with everything that's been going on with YouTube, the expansion of their live streaming platform, everything that's been, kind of adjusting, and as a lot of things are changing on Twitch, I've made a conscious decision that at this point in my streaming career, I wanted to make an experiment and start with a brand new channel, like just starting fresh out the gate, and make a gaming-based channel with some tech tips and things like that, videos, more focused around streaming and games, and then live stream only to that channel and see what a growth plan is in a 3-month period and how that looks coming from somewhere where you have no basically user base before starting it. I mean, I think I'm at like 7 subscribers now just because last week I publicly announced the channel. So a few people went and followed it or subscribed to it already. But I just want to see what the difference is from a growth perspective and see how many, what's your average viewers per stream? What's your, average view duration? What's your, if you consistently, regularly stream to a channel?
Yeah. So I'm really curious, especially with some of the bigger names moving over, more attention. And more of the Twitch community is very aware of how much more live streaming is versus historically is happening on YouTube. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm genuinely curious. I really want to see the results of this. I am not in any rush to jump over to YouTube right now at all. I love Twitch. I love the community. I love the people I get to meet through here. Lurch and Smile and all these other amazing folks, Killigan, Kick, and I guess I could meet some cool people on YouTube also. I guess that's the thing, but like my people are here. They're here on Twitch right
I totally understand that.
So,
So next week we will be going live from YouTube. So it'll be the first test of the experiment. So we'll have to figure it out then. Plenty of other things for us to talk about in the future. I think we got a minor piece of what, we could have got into tonight, but we are already over our 1 hour limit. And again, trying to keep my medium form not turning into too long of a form. So, Nathan, thank you again. Everybody in chat, look at you getting rated out. Awesome. Thank you guys. This Twitch ride has been absolutely amazing. I appreciate every one of you that have always been here for me. And I'm not leaving streaming. I'm just shifting my way to a new place for a test to see how it works out. And, could it become my new home? It could, but there's no guarantees today. Right now, Twitch is always going to be somewhere that I will be frequently coming back to. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all being here. We will see you guys next week.